Cancel her. Immediately. That was the top comment on Maya Rivers' latest video, liked over 500,000 times. It wasn't just a comment anymore. It was a verdict. Just 24 hours earlier, Maya had been a rising icon. A 22-year-old indie artist from Seattle with a guitar, a dream, and a voice that could hush a stadium. Her breakout single, Breathe Again, had hit 1 million streams that week alone. Labels were calling. Influencers were begging for collabs. She was on the cusp of becoming the next big thing. But fame comes fast and falls even faster. It started with a clip, just 27 seconds long. Grainy footage from an old live stream when Maya was barely 18. Her hair was different. Her tone was clearly sarcastic, but the internet doesn't care about context. Words were twisted, chopped up, clipped just right to fuel outrage. She really said that? Fake feminist. She's always been problematic. It didn't matter that Maya had apologized for that exact clip years ago, back when she had less than 2,000 followers. She'd owned up to it, explained, and moved on. But now? The internet smelled blood. By lunchtime, hashtags were trending worldwide. Hashtag Maya's over. Hashtag fake woke. Hashtag do not stream. Even TikTok creators who once praised her were suddenly stitching the clip, making shocked faces and disapproving sounds, racking up millions of views. At her label's headquarters, the energy had shifted. Emails stopped. Her A&R ghosted. Meetings were rescheduled indefinitely. Then, the phone rang. Maya. I'm sorry, her manager muttered. They're pulling the deal. That was it. Just like that, the girl whose lyrics helped thousands feel seen was being digitally erased. Her follower count plummeted in real time. She watched blue check marks unfollow her. Brand sponsors disappeared. Reaction videos popped up like weeds, the truth about Maya Rivers, why we should have known, exposing the industry's favorite girl boss. At first, Maya tried to reason with it. She posted a Notes app apology, again, trying to add nuance, context. But that only made it worse. Her comments filled with venom. Too little too late. She only cares now that she's losing money. Cry harder. She stared at her phone, alone in her apartment. Notifications buzzed nonstop. Her face trended on Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, thumbnails. Her inbox? A war zone. Even her best friend called and whispered, maybe just lay low for a while. Lay low. Disappear. Be silent. The words echoed in her mind like a dare. Maya wasn't a stranger to pain. Her songs were full of it. She'd grown up with a single mom working 2 jobs, sleeping on a mattress in a shared studio apartment. Music had always been her escape, her rebellion, her therapy. Now it felt like the very thing trying to destroy her. For 3 days, she didn't eat, barely slept. She turned off her phone and stared at the ceiling. Thought about quitting, just vanishing, becoming anonymous again, working in a coffee shop, maybe teaching music in some small town where no one knew her name. But deep down, something inside her refused to die. Not yet, because Maya knew something the internet didn't. She wasn't done singing, not even close. And while the world might have screamed, she's over, they hadn't heard her final song. Not yet. Maya Rivers stared at the dark screen of her phone. She hadn't posted anything in days. The once steady flood of likes, reposts, and shares had dried into silence. Or worse, hate. Her name, her face, her music, everything she'd built, was now branded with one word: canceled. Her apartment was a mess. Half-eaten takeout boxes cluttered the counter. Her guitar sat in a corner, untouched. And Maya? She was on her couch in a hoodie, wrapped in a blanket like armor. She thought about walking away from all of it. For good. What would it feel like to live without the pressure? No more judgment. No more spotlight. Maybe she could become someone else, move to a quiet town, change her name, and teach piano to kindergartners. But then, curiosity got the better of her. She unlocked her phone, just to check. No public posts. No mentions. Just one place she hadn't dared open in days, her DMs. Her fingers hovered over the icon, then tapped. What she saw next changed everything. Hundreds, no, thousands, of messages. But not the kind she expected. They weren't all hate. In fact, most weren't hate at all. They were stories. From real people. A teenage girl wrote, "Your song Glass House stopped me from hurting myself last year. You saved me." A single mom. "I played your music every night for my daughter when she was going through chemo. She passed last month. I just wanted to say thank you." A closeted gay boy from a rural town. Your lyrics helped me come out. You made me feel like I wasn't broken. Maya sat frozen. Tears streamed down her face. These weren't fans. These were survivors. People who saw themselves in her music. People who didn't care about trending hashtags or viral outrage. People who still believed in her, flawed, human, messy her. That night, Maya didn't sleep. She didn't scroll. She didn't tweet. She wrote. Words poured out like fire and rain. By morning, she had a new song. No PR team. No co-writers. Just her, a legal pad, a pencil, and years of buried truth. The next evening, she went live. No makeup. No ring light. No background track. Just a hoodie, tired eyes, and her guitar. The chat exploded instantly. What is she doing? She looks wrecked. Why is she even here? But Maya didn't flinch. She took a shaky breath, then leaned into the mic. I'm not perfect, she began, voice trembling. I've said dumb things. I've grown. I've learned. But I'm not the villain people want me to be. If you're done with me, fine. But I'm not done singing for the people who still need a voice. She paused, letting the silence sit. Then, she started to strum. The chords were rough. Her voice cracked. But the emotion? Raw. Real. Unfiltered. I lost my name, I lost my light. But I won't disappear without a fight. You can shame me, blame me, call me a lie. But I'm still here, and I will rise. She titled the song Uncancelled. And she didn't care if no one listened. But people did. By the time she logged off, over 150,000 viewers had tuned in. Comments flooded in. Not from critics, but from strangers saying, "This saved me. I needed this. Thank you for not quitting." Maya sat back, stunned. For the first time in days, she smiled. She didn't post a promo. She didn't call her manager. She just kept writing. Because in that moment, Maya realized something powerful. They could cancel a contract. They could cancel a tour. But they couldn't cancel her voice. Maya didn't expect much from that live stream. She hadn't planned it. No press, no post, no announcement. It was just her, broken, raw, and done with being scared. But the moment she logged off, something shifted. The clip of her performance, uncancelled, began spreading like wildfire. Not from Maya herself, but from fans, from strangers, from people who had watched in silence and finally felt seen. A TikTok user posted the video with the caption, "She didn't ask for forgiveness. She asked to be heard." Within 12 hours, it hit 1 million views. It wasn't Maya's voice that shocked people. It was her vulnerability. Her pain was unpolished. Her lyrics weren't a clapback. They were a confession. Not a defense, but a declaration. I'm not your puppet, not your trend. Not a hashtag you can bend. I bleed. I break. I cry, I mend. But I will rise again. That verse exploded across social media. People began duetting it. At first, it was small, a girl strumming along from her college dorm. A middle-aged dad harmonizing in his garage. But then it grew. A teacher in Texas added her own verse about losing her job for calling out racism. A student in Brazil sang about being bullied for his identity. A refugee in Ukraine recorded a quiet harmony from a shelter, saying Maya's words made her feel alive again. An ex-con in Atlanta whispered his verse, voice shaking. They marked me as broken. I'm not. I'm still here. Even a nun in Italy added a haunting choral background, saying the song was a prayer for those crushed by silence. And then came the 12-year-old girl. Her name was Lila. Deaf since birth. She didn't sing uncancelled. She signed it. In a dimly lit bedroom, tears streaming down her cheeks, Lila translated every lyric with her hands and face. You could feel every beat, every emotion, without hearing a sound. That video, it shattered the internet. 40 million views in 48 hours. Celebrities reposted it. News outlets ran the story. People across the globe were learning the signs just to join her. The hashtag uncancelled Anthem hit 50 million views within a week. And suddenly, Maya wasn't just a singer anymore. She was a movement. Playlists changed. DJs remixed the song. Choirs performed it at schools. A punk version appeared in Berlin. A lo-fi cover dropped in Tokyo. A gospel choir sang it at a church in New Orleans, and the pastor ended the sermon by quoting Maya's chorus. People didn't just listen, they participated. They added their verses, told their stories, spoke their truths. For every person who had been canceled in real life, fired for a mistake, bullied for being different, ghosted for speaking up, uncancelled became more than a song. It became proof that silence wasn't the end. Maya watched it all unfold from her apartment. No fancy team, no PR machine, no label backing her. Just her music, her truth, and the thousands of people finally realizing they weren't alone. When her phone rang again, it wasn't her old manager. It was someone entirely unexpected. 3 weeks after Maya's live stream, an email landed in her inbox that looked like spam. Subject line, United Nations, official invitation. She nearly deleted it without opening. She assumed it was a scam. A cruel joke, maybe. After everything that had happened online, she'd gotten used to trolls pretending to be fans, catfishing her with fake opportunities only to laugh behind screens. But something about the sender address caught her eye. It ended in .org. Curious, she clicked. The message was real. Short, formal, but very, very real. The United Nations was hosting its annual International Day of Human Rights concert in Geneva. Maya's song, Uncancelled, was being used in youth shelters, trauma clinics, and women's empowerment groups across the globe. They wanted her to perform. Live. On the global stage. She dropped her phone. For a full minute, she just stared at the floor in stunned silence. Her song, The One Born in Pain, in a hoodie, in her darkest hour, was now echoing in refugee camps, rehab centers, school assemblies, and women's shelters. She thought about declining. Part of her still didn't believe she belonged on that kind of stage. She'd been burned before, chewed up by an industry that loved her when she was shiny and discarded her the moment she made a mistake. But another part of her, a stronger part now, knew better. This wasn't about redemption. This was about truth. So Maya packed her guitar and flew to Geneva. When she arrived at the venue, her hands shook as she stepped into the hall. It wasn't glamorous. No paparazzi. No flashing lights. But it was powerful. Survivors from war zones. Journalists who'd risked their lives. Young activists. Human rights lawyers. And everyday people who had been silenced, now standing proud. Maya took the stage in jeans and a plain black top. No makeup. No stylist. Just her guitar strapped across her chest. The lights dimmed. And then as she heard it, the crowd, singing her lyrics. You can't mute me. You can't bury my name. I am still standing. Still singing through shame. Thousands of voices, young and old, black and white, Muslim, Christian, atheist, trans, straight, deaf, disabled, all singing her song. She nearly broke down. But she didn't. She strummed the first chord and began to sing, this time, not with trembling hands, but with full, defiant strength. Each verse carried pain, yes, but also hope. A declaration that no mistake, no scandal, no manufactured outrage could erase a person's humanity. And when she finished, silence, followed by an eruption. Not polite applause. A roar. People stood, cried, cheered, held up signs from different countries, written in different languages, all with the same message. Uncancelled saved me. After the concert, Maya didn't run to the green room. She sat with the audience, hugged a teenage girl who'd been rescued from trafficking, spoke to a man who had been jailed for protesting injustice in his homeland. They didn't care about streams or views. They cared that she saw them. Back in the hotel that night, her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Labels were back. Talk shows were begging. PR agents who once dropped her were so proud again. Even influencers who once trashed her in clickbait videos were now resharing her performance, adding captions like, "Maybe we judged too fast. Growth matters. She's back." But Maya remembered the silence. She remembered who ghosted her and who stood by her when her name was poison. So she made a decision. No label. No manager. She would start her own. For artists like her. For voices that had been silenced, censored, buried. This time, Maya wasn't just singing for herself. She was making space for everyone still fighting to be heard. 6 months later, Uncancelled topped charts in 22 countries. Not bad for a song born in a bedroom, with no budget, no label, no auto-tune, just truth. But what mattered most to Maya wasn't the chart position. It was what came after. She was walking through the airport in Amsterdam when a young man stopped her, eyes wide, hands shaking. "I was going to end my life last year," he whispered. "Then I heard your song. I decided to live." Moments like that happened again and again. A bus driver in Nairobi pulled over just to say, "My daughter sings your lyrics every morning before school." A woman in London sobbed while hugging her, "I played Uncancelled after my divorce. It gave me permission to feel again." The impact was real, far deeper than streams or followers. Maya had become a symbol, not of perfection, but of resilience. She didn't pretend to be flawless. She stopped trying to erase her past and instead embraced it. Every scar, every mistake, every misstep. And the world responded. But Maya had learned her lesson. Fame is a fire. It can warm you or burn you alive. So when the industry came crawling back, she didn't. She got offers from all the major labels. Blank checks, world tours, brand deals with luxury companies that had once paused discussions. Every offer came with the same sweetened poison. We'll make you bigger than ever, but we'll need control. Control of her music, her voice, her story. Maya smiled politely, then deleted the emails. Instead, she took her savings and launched her Voice Records, a label for misfits, for artists who'd been dropped, silenced, mocked, blacklisted, for voices that didn't fit the mold. Her first signees? A black trans singer who had been rejected by 5 different labels for being too controversial. A Latina punk band whose frontwoman had been doxxed after calling out a powerful executive. A soft-spoken, neurodivergent producer whose beats had gone viral but was never invited to meetings because he didn't present well. Together, they created magic. And Maya? She didn't just release more music. She released other people. She held songwriting camps for kids with trauma. She hosted live streams where fans could anonymously submit lyrics about what they were going through, and she'd turn them into songs in real time. She even collaborated with Lila, the deaf girl who had signed Uncancelled, on a music video with full ASL integration. By the end of the year, Maya was nominated for major awards. Grammys, Global Impact Honors, humanitarian prizes. She walked red carpets, but never alone. She always brought someone who'd been told they weren't enough. And every time someone asked, "How did you survive the cancellation?" she gave the same answer. "I stopped performing for approval and started singing for healing." In her final interview of the year, a journalist leaned forward with the inevitable question. "What would you say to people who still think you should have stayed canceled?" Maya paused, then smiled softly. "I'd say thank you," she answered. "Because without that fall, I never would have found my real voice." She looked into the camera and said 4 simple words. "To everyone still healing, sing louder." And somewhere, someone who thought they were done started again.